Let's create a Pokemon game in 100 seconds. First off, we're going to show you how to create custom Pokemon starter choices. So if you're interested in learning more, then please follow. We've got a lot more tutorials coming on. First off, we want to create a new object and we want to turn it into a Pokeball. So we're just going to go sprite, item ball, boom, done. We're going to repeat this 3 times so that we have all 3 of our different starter choices. Up the top here, you can see the object ID. Remember that because we're going to use it later. Okay, now we're going to open up our code. Once we've got our code open, we're going to start creating it. So we're going to do starter choice 1, and we're going to do what we do for every single script, and that's lock the player, and then make sure we release them at the end. Show on pick is a little script that's just going to show the character's sprite on screen so they can see which Pokemon they're going to be choosing. And on top of that, we're just going to put a little bit of feedback using some script just to say, do they actually want to choose this Pokemon? With this, we're going to turn it into a option. So we're going to put in message box, yes, no, and that will just create a selection. If the player chooses yes, then we want to capture that. That's exactly what this line of script does. If the variable they put in is yes, then we're going to complete this code. This piece of code is going to give them the Pokemon. This Pokemon is going to be level 5 when picked up, and it's going to be holding an orange berry. We then set the variable. Variables are just information in the game that's going to be used later. In this case, we're going to set it to 0, and each choice is going to have a slightly different one so that we know later in the game what start you chose. We're also going to set a flag, which we're going to create called flag receive starter. This flag will stop the player from being able to take 2. So we're just going to go into our flags and we're going to overwrite purchase bag. Brilliant. Now we have the flag. We actually want to make sure the player doesn't do it multiple times. So we're just going to go if. We're going to create a conditional, and if the player hasn't received their starter yet, then they're welcome to do all of this code. If they have already done this code, then we're just going to say message box, I have already chosen a starter. With that, the player will now have their starter. We're just going to give a bit of feedback. So we're going to say, tell them they've received their Pokemon. And we're going to play some music so that they get some sort of audio feedback by playing a fanfare. It just plays short pieces of music. And we want to make the object disappear. So if you remember that ID of the object earlier, we'll add it in now. And that's all we need. We're now going to repeat this 3 times, and we're just going to change it to starter choice 2, starter choice 3, and we're going to change it up which Pokemon are each one. So once you have that, we're going to go back to our maps, and we're going to attach each of the correct script to the one we choose. So we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, and save, compile, and you'll be able to play the game with those new changes.